Welcome everyone to this 7-day good morning yoga journey. So if you can start your day with yoga for just like 15 to 20 minutes a day during this journey, then I guarantee you're going to feel a shift and you're going to feel really good, and hopefully it'll be something that you continue to incorporate into your day. So for this first day, we're going to focus on the breath and our spine. Two of the most important things that we have. I mean, without our breath, we wouldn't be alive. And as you all know, if you sever your spinal cord, you can't move, and that's not any fun. So we want to be supple and flexible and understand like the feeling of what it feels like to really to breathe in a way that's going to be super beneficial and to have that mobility and strength around your spine. So it's always nice to have a blanket if you want some extra padding, but other than that, no props are needed. So we're going to start by focusing on our breath and focusing on what we call a diaphragmatic breath. So what that means is that our diaphragm is this big muscle that attaches all around our body at the base of our ribs. So it's pretty big and it moves when we breathe. So as the lungs fill up with air, it presses down on the diaphragm. The diaphragm presses into our intestines and our organs. And then as we exhale and the volume in the lungs decreases, the diaphragm floats upward. So there's a big increase in volume in our bodies, and that's why we have all this movement when we breathe. So let's start by placing one hand on the front body, kind of right around the base of the ribs, just above your belly button. So it might be that the outside edge of your hand, it lines up with your belly button. And then you can place the back of your hand kind of directly behind the front of the hand. So it's almost like you're sandwiching the diaphragm between your hands. And as you inhale, you want to feel the movement in the front hand and in the back hand. So you might not feel it in the back at first, but with practice, you can develop this sense and awareness to where you begin to get this really full breathing. I like to close my eyes because it helps me to be more aware of the feelings going on inside, the inner movement. So you want to breathe in and out through your nose. And breathe softly, like you are not even going to make a sound. You want the breath to be gentle and smooth. And feel that big internal movement, a spherical movement, like 360 degrees around in all directions. You could even imagine a beach ball inside of you, or some kind of small inflatable ball that fills up and gets bigger on the inhale, and then releases, gets a little bit softer and relaxed on the exhale. Now let's take our hands to our side ribs. And you can either have the palm of your hands on the side or the back of your hands, whichever is going to be more comfortable for you. And it's just a tool to help us feel movement. So as you inhale, feel like your ribs expand outward from side to side, as well as the movement front and back. And as you exhale, feel the ribs draw inward. So at first it might take a little effort to feel that movement in the side ribs and in the back body especially. But with focus and with intention and awareness, eventually you'll feel it happening. So I want to remember that feeling and just release your hands to your sides and continue breathing, feeling that front and back movement and the side to side movement. So you can feel that even though you're sitting still, there's a lot going on in your body. There's a lot of movement. So not only does the breath push forward and backward and out from side to side, but it also pushes up and down. So we have a diaphragm at our pelvic floor and we have a diaphragm right at the base of our throat. So you could even imagine or maybe even feel like a little downward pressure into the pelvic diaphragm and a little upward pressure into the diaphragm right at the throat. So you really truly feel this 360-degree breath. And when you feel all that movement, most likely your breath is going to be longer and more efficient. And this is really going to help you relax and recover, really tap into your parasympathetic nervous system, which often gets a little bit ignored because we tend to be so busy and frantic with our daily lives. So when we breathe this way, we'll end up breathing less breaths per minute, but really getting probably more oxygen and in and outflow of the carbon dioxide. So instead of breathing 10 to 12 breaths a minute, you might end up breathing 5 or 6 or 7 breaths a minute. Now I'd like to do some counting. There's a breath called the box breath, which is you breathe in to a count of 4, you hold for a count of 4, exhale to a count of 4, and hold for a count of 4. And the idea is to make the breath smooth and even. So you're not taking most of the breath in on the first 2 counts and then half holding your breath on the last 2. But you take the breath in in such a way that when you get to 4, you've got a nice full breath in. And on the exhale, same thing. When you get to 4, you have most of the air breathed out. So I'm going to count for 3 rounds with you of this box breath, and then I'll let you count on your own for 3 breaths. So exhale all the air out. And now inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. And continue counting on your own, feeling the breath move in and out through your nose, expanding like a big beach ball inside of you on the inhale, and releasing and letting go and contracting a little bit on the exhale. You want to feel your breath moving slowly and silently, almost like silk or anything that you can think of that's really soft and light. And maybe you even feel a kind of healing energy that comes with this breath. So after you finish your 3rd breath, counting to the count of 4 on your inhale, the pause, the exhale, and the pause, just breathe in a way that feels natural to you. And notice if it feels a little different than how you normally breathe. And that's the idea. We want to create a habit here. We want to create something that we're going to carry with us throughout our day and into our lives, so that we have that opportunity to really take advantage of the healing power of the breath. Now we're gonna continue focusing on the breath, but get into some spinal movements. So our spine is capable of 6 different movements. So there's the flexion and extension, there's side to side movement, and there's a twisting component. So we're gonna play with all of those different movements. And let's start with flexion and extension and a basic cat-cow movement. So as you inhale, puff your chest up and bring your chest forward as the shoulders stay back. And as you exhale, round your back, pulling your belly towards your spine, letting your chin lower towards your chest. Then inhale, as your back arches forward, the head lifts, chin lifts away from the chest. And as you exhale, round the back and let your chin lower towards your chest. And just keep moving in a way that you feel the spine moving very freely. And you have a sense of all those vertebrae in your spine moving independently and intradependently. Because they're all attached, they're all connected by fascia and tendons and ligaments and surrounded by muscles. So even though they're a separate piece, each vertebrae is a separate piece of bone, it's all connected throughout the fascial system and the neuromuscular system. And getting this moving can really help to flush out toxins, to keep your spine healthy. If our spine was meant to not move, it would be a solid bone, like our leg bone. We can't like flex our leg, right, from our knee to our ankle. That's a solid bone. But since we have all these individual bones in our spine, it makes sense that we want to move them and use that movement potential. So now let's do a little side to side. So place your right hand down and reach your left arm up and over your ear. And inhale back to center, and left hand comes down, right arm reaches across. And just glide softly from side to side. The breath can lift you up, and the exhale can help you contract a little bit into this side body to get a bigger stretch on the opposite side. And continue this fluid, graceful movement. Feeling like even though you're breathing yourself, there's something bigger breathing you. And even though you're creating these movements, there's something bigger moving you. Like you're connected to this universal spirit, universal energy. And just one more time each side. Stretching over to the right and stretching over to the left. Nice. Just notice how maybe different you're feeling already. On your next inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, use your deep core muscles to twist to your right as your arms float down. Inhale up through center. And exhale, twist to the left. Arms floating down towards the earth. And then inhale, reach up. And exhale, twist. And we'll just continue to move back and forth, feeling that nice twisting motion as we glide from side to side. And one more time each side. So really reach up, lengthening the spine, and keep the length as much as you can as you twist. It'll give you a little more space and a little more room. And come back to center, bring your palms together, and bring your hands down towards your heart center. And just take a moment to relax and feel and appreciate the effect of the movement on your spine and the breath and your whole body and into your mental body as well, mental, emotional body. So now let's come onto our hands and knees, and this is where you might want to put a blanket underneath your knees. That feels good for you. And we're going to move the spine again, but without our hips being on the floor. So start with your wrists underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your feet. And as you look back at your knees, see if you can bring your feet in line with your knees. So your feet are kind of hidden behind your knees. Start to grip the mat with the pads of your fingers. Almost like you're trying to grab a piece of, make a handful of dirt or something with your hands. And then we'll use that connection. So notice how your arms firm up a little bit, the muscles of your arms engage. And as you inhale, stretch your chest forward as you lift your tailbone up. And as you exhale, push into the earth so that your back rounds and your neck releases and relaxes. You can even add a little isometrical movement. So as you inhale, isometrically drag your hands towards your knees. And as you exhale, rounding your back, push your hands away from your knees. So isometric is just like creating a feeling without actually moving. So it's like you're intending to move your hands forward, but they don't move. And you're intending to move your hands back, but they don't move, but you can feel the effect of the pressure of that intended movement. And just keep gliding back and forth a couple more times. Now sit your hips back on your heels. Stretch your arms forward a little bit. Rest your forehead on the floor in tabletop. Rest your forehead on the floor in child's pose. On your next inhale, fill up with the breath and come all the way forward. Even going, if you can, bringing your shoulders past your wrists. And as you exhale, lead with your hips and stretch back to your heels. And really exaggerate the rounding of your spine and the arching of your spine as you glide forward and back. So it's very similar to the cat-cow we just did. That was where we weren't moving as much, and now we're adding a little more movement. Just gliding back and forth. And come back into your tabletop. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back into down dog. And we'll continue that movement here. So as you inhale, round your spine forward to plank. And as you exhale, bend your knees and glide back into your down dog. And continue rounding forward and arching back. Feeling that rippling action of your spine. Nice and easy movements. That will become more and more graceful, more and more easeful as you practice over time. And as the spine, the muscles around the spine release a little bit, and your body gets more used to this movement. We'll just go a couple more times here. Now you can always take a break anytime if you need to. Otherwise, it might feel really good just to do a couple more, gliding back and forth. So this will be the last one. And lower your knees back to the floor. Walk your hands back. And we're gonna come onto our backs for a short Savasana. So this is a short practice, but if you can take at least a minute or two for Savasana, that's really helpful. And just lie on your back. Let your feet flop open to the side. Rest with your palms facing upward. And Savasana is all about letting go and surrendering. Continue feeling the movement of your breath in all directions so that you feel your back ribs pressing into the floor. You feel your side ribs expanding out to the side. You feel the belly lifting and a little bit of maybe pressure in your pelvic floor and up in the throat area. Very, very subtle pressure, nothing uncomfortable, but just a sensation of fullness. So as you relax here, I'm going to read you a quote from Paulo Coelho that I find really inspiring. You are always learning. The problem is sometimes you stop and think you understand the world. That is not correct. The world is always moving. You can never reach the point where you can stop making the effort. So if you have more time to rest in Savasana, please stay in your Savasana. Otherwise, bend your knees and roll to your side, keeping your eyes closed. And then slowly use your hands to gently press yourself up to a comfortable seat. And keeping your eyes closed. Feel the movement of your breath in this seated position. And take a moment just to express gratitude. Gratitude for your breath, for your ability to move, for being part of nature, this amazing planet Earth. Please bring your hands together in front of your heart in what we call Anjali Mudra, like a prayer pose. And thank you all so much for joining me in this good morning yoga practice. I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste. And I hope to see you tomorrow. We'll be focusing on the hands and the feet. Please sign up for my email list with the link in the description below for special events and inspiration for healthy living. Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.